G'day everybody, Sean from Bourbon Brothers here, looking at our second bottle of May, Blanton Single Barrel Special Reserve. So in our first video where we reviewed the Buffalo Trace bourbon, we also did a deep dive into the Buffalo Trace distillery. So I'm not going to repeat all of that about the distillery because all of our bottles from May are coming from the amazing Buffalo Trace distillery. So the Blanton Single Barrel Special Reserve, the one we're looking at today, was dumped on the 5th of May 2020, so about a year ago. It is barrel number 709. It was stored in Warehouse H on Rick number 17, and the registered bottle number is 184. So a little bit of background on the Special Reserve. It was originally created only for international markets and a little bit of duty free there in the US. You can now get it in the USA. However, in an absolute first, it is actually priced higher in the USA than what we can get it for here in Australia. Up is down. It doesn't make any sense, but that's how it's happening. So it's a really interesting bourbon in terms of uniqueness. It's clearly aimed at individuals who don't really like higher proof bourbons or are just starting to drink bourbon. And for all practical purposes, you're getting just a little bit of a watered down version of the original Blanton Single Barrel. So in comparison, this is the Blanton's normal single barrel here, and this is a barrel proof one here. So this one, it is actually from Warehouse H and Rick House number 16, as opposed to Rick number 17 in Warehouse H, where we've got this one. So almost side by side, but this one comes in at 63.5% alcohol by volume. So you can sort of see the differences between those two. So the Special Reserve is a good introductory bourbon into the Blantons range, but if you can get your hands on some of the original single barrel and the barrel proof, which is here, really recommend doing that as you sort of develop your bourbon taste buds, and if you do like the Blantons, which I do enjoy. Now, the downside to this is if you can get your hands on one of these, and they're incredibly rare at the moment, so you have to do a lot of searching. Maybe you can find a dusty old bottle at the back of somebody's shelf there, but you're going to pay about $180, $190 for a bottle of the barrel proof single barrel Blantons, as opposed to about $80 for a bottle of the Special Reserve. So having said all that, let's crack her open and give it a taste. Now, one of the unique things that obviously what Blanton is known for is for these amazing toppers which go on there. So there's a different topper for each letter of the Blantons, which display a different stage in a race in Kentucky, a horse race there. So each one of them will have a slightly different jockey position on top. So there's some pretty neat things you can do if you're able to collect all the different Blantons toppers there. So let's go ahead and try it. So really that honey colour with this one. Light to medium legs. So this nose can really be summed up as pretty light. It has traces of grain, hay, new wood, and citrus are present, along with some hints of dried fruit. So while it's pleasant, it's obviously lighter than the original single barrel Blanton's nose. And that's one that I've actually really generally enjoyed and have a hard time pulling away from. So nothing really jumps out in this nose, but it's okay. So when tasting this bourbon, I get traces of honey, citrus, vanilla, a little bit of pepper in there. Those are notable flavors. So it's pleasant, not overly complex, and it's got a relatively short finish in this edition of the Blantons as opposed to the original single barrel. The finish though is much more present than the nose, and it's got traces of new wood and the rye and a hint of leather, and probably what can be best described as fresh cut grass. That's a defining flavour that really stays with you as the finish dissipates. So that's the Blanton's Single Barrel Special Reserve, which you should be able to find out there in the stores. Hope you've enjoyed it and you're enjoying your journey. Cheers. Now, but you're going to pay a... Oh, hello.